Hello, sunshine. Watch the money, safety, and trust. First up, a medical update with real world friction. Across the wider news cycle, the story is about Operation Amistad. Bisham Portable Hospital reaches Venezuela. Fact confidence comes in at 95 out of 100. The shared center is clear enough, and the consequences are the moving part. The tension is where science, access, and confidence meet real patience. Carry this extra detail with it. Operation Amistad, Bisham Portable Hospital cubes deployed to Venezuela in landmark humanitarian mission after earthquakes. The open question is whether the real-world rollout matches the headline. Why care? Who is likely to be affected? Medical providers, patients, and consumers. The bigger issue is whether the public still believes the explanation.
Another signal worth watching. The facts are moving faster than the answers. In the United States, the headline boils down to tens of thousands march in the first Budapest Pride since Viktor Orbán was voted out. The useful angle is whether pressure on public trust, markets, and legislation actually changes anything after the headline fades. One detail to watch is tens of thousands march in first Budapest Pride since Orbán ouster. The catch is that the consequence is still developing. Fact confidence lands at 95 out of 100. The repeated reporting is strong enough to watch the fallout, not just the headline. Why care? Who is likely to be affected? Institutions, businesses, and consumers. Trust is the boring word that decides whether people follow rules, buy promises, or punish institutions.
Another signal worth watching, a money story with a trust problem. In the United States, this one starts with America in focus. Key inflation gauge surges to 3-year high. Mortgage rate climbs. Fact confidence is 95 out of 100, so the basic event is solid. The argument is about what it changes. The open question is whether the pressure becomes a real cost or just a nervous headline. The real tension is whether this stays in markets or reaches normal wallets. Carry this extra detail with it. America in focus. Key inflation gauge surges to 3. Why care? Who is likely to be affected? Investors, businesses, and consumers. A money headline matters when it moves from a chart into a bill, a job plan, or a boardroom decision.
Now to this one, a political fight with practical consequences. In United Kingdom, the practical issue on the table is Andy Burnham distanced himself from UK Prime Minister Starmer, but may be stuck with his policies. The useful angle is who gains room to act and who gets boxed in by the next rule. Fact confidence, 95 out of 100. The overlap is strongest around Andy, Burnham, and distanced, but the useful question is impact. The catch is that announcements are quick, enforcement and consequences are slower. Why care? Who is likely to be affected? Government, regulated industries, voters, and public services. In United Kingdom, the next decision could outlive the news cycle even if today's argument burns out by lunch.
Now to this one, the real story is what changes next. In Nigeria, this one starts with NCC seeks local smartphone factories to reduce phone prices. Fact confidence is 85 out of 100, so the basic event is solid. The argument is about what it changes. The open question is what changes after the headline cools down. The tension is what moves next: behavior, money, rules, safety, or trust. The added wrinkle is NCC seeks presidential backing for local smartphone factories. Why care? The first people to feel it are institutions, businesses, and consumers. The wider risk is that markets, your wallet, and public trust start changing everyday choices.
Next up, voting rights evolved is the part to watch. In the United States, the story is about how voting rights have evolved over America 250. Why care? Who is likely to be affected? Institutions, businesses, and consumers. Trust is the boring word that decides whether people follow rules, buy promises, or punish institutions.
For today, the useful filter is simple. Watch what changes: decisions, prices, rules, safety, or trust. The rest can sit down for a minute. A headline can make noise by itself. A story earns attention when separate reporting keeps landing on the same basic facts. On Operation Amistad, Bisham Portable Hospital reaches Venezuela. Watch Public Trust, Your Wallet and Legislation. In global news, the people closest to it are medical providers, patients, and consumers. The next useful update is whether behavior, budgets, policy, or risk appetite actually changes. On tens of thousands march in the first Budapest Pride since Viktor Orbán was voted out. Watch Public Trust, Markets, and Legislation. In United States, the people closest to it are institutions, businesses, and consumers. The next useful update is whether behavior, budgets, policy, or risk appetite actually changes.
Subscribe if this saved you a scroll spiral. See you next time.